I am your girl, Chrissy. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. So for this week, I have a really, my thriller of the month, I should say, fun book. And it is The Good Sister by Sally Hepworth. Yo, so this book is my second book by Sally Hepworth. The book that I read from her was The Mother-in-Law, which I'll link below if you want to check out my review for that. So this book has just come out, and I actually finished it the night before the published date. So April 13th is when it came out. I have to give a massive thanks to St. Martin's Press for sending me an advanced review copy of this book. So thank you for this awesome read. So this book is one of those books that's actually already on a lot of lists, and I'm seeing it a lot on Instagram, on a lot of book review websites, BookBub, and all of that, all those places. So it's definitely a must read, I think, for this year in terms of thrillers. And like I said, I knew what to expect with it because I know her writing style, and I liked her previous book that I had read. So let's just get into what The Good Sister is all about. The setting for this book is Brisbane, Australia. I'm pretty sure it's Brisbane. I cannot remember for the life of me, but I'm like 90% sure it's Brisbane. Definitely Australia. So apologies if I get that wrong. Feel free to correct me. So Brisbane, Australia. We follow two fraternal twin sisters, Rose and Fern. From the outside, everyone thinks they're as close as can be. Fern is the quirky sister and Rose is the responsible one. The two sisters are completely devoted to one another, and Rose has always been the protector from a very young age. Their mother was a true sociopath who held her true nature from the world, and only Rose could see this. And Fern needed to be protected by her sister. Fern always saw the good in everyone. When the sisters were much younger, Fern did something terrible, and Rose never told a single soul about it. Fern wanted to repay her sister, and she knew the perfect way to do it. So Fern decided to help her sister achieve her heart's desire of having a baby. Rose soon realizes that Fern can make choices that to her will have a terrible outcome. Rose doesn't realize that Fern is growing more and more aware of the secrets that Rose is keeping, and one of the sisters will stop at nothing to get what she truly wants. So that is what the book is all about. A lot of sisterly stuff going on. So stay tuned. When I come back, I'm going to give you my review for this book, my rating, and also my song pick for The Good Sister. Welcome back. Thank you for staying tuned, y'all. So let's jump right into the review, right? So this book, I actually, like I said, knew what to expect with the type of writing style. And Sally Hepworth definitely delivered with this book. If you love a good old psychological thriller, then definitely add this to your list. And it was a very, very, very gripping read. So I will give her that. So we followed the lives of these two sisters who are extremely close to one another, and I really loved the character development in this book. We mostly follow Fern, so we get her story pretty much throughout the entire book, but also we do hear from Rose every now and then. So I really did like that we got to know both sisters quite well, how different they both are. I'm not going to tell you a lot about it, but it was written very well, and I liked that it didn't have a lot of characters in this book. You definitely get to know the dynamics of their relationship throughout this book. So you definitely will have a favorite sister or one that you're feeling a bit iffy about. So yeah, it does get really good. I do have to say that. I loved the writing of this book. It's very gripping. It's a massive, massive page turner. You can probably read this book in like 2 days if you are like a really fast reader. So it definitely keeps you gripped from the beginning till the very end. I will say that with this book, there isn't much action. It's not like one of those like crazy thrillers that you're like, oh my God, like what? It's not like that. Like, for example, when No One Was Watching by Alyssa Cole, that book was just like, whoa, oh my goodness, there's just so much happening. And it's like, gets your heart rate up and stuff. So this book is a bit more chilled. It's more like an easy, like, I would say like a family drama type of thriller, like a domestic thriller. So it's not like a massive, like, huge plot twist. I actually had figured out the plot twist pretty much, I think, in the middle of the book. So it's not like, you don't know what's going to happen. You kind of do know. I mean, I could anyway, quite early on. But even though I knew how the story was going to possibly end, I really wanted to know what was going to happen. I wanted to read the book because it had so much drama. There was a lot of drama in this book, but in like a good way. Like, you just want to like know, it's almost like binge watching a TV show or something. So I really did like that about the book. So you know what, with all that, let's just get into the rating, right? So I gave The Good Sister by Sally Hepworth a rating of 8 out of 10. Yeah, funny enough, it's the same rating that I gave to The Mother-in-Law, which is kind of a funny coincidence, the other book that I had read. So 8 out of 10 for me. This book was a great read. It's a solid book, and the story had substance as well, which I quite liked. It was enjoyable, and I would definitely recommend it for domestic psychological mystery lovers out there. If I could describe The Good Sister with 4 words, they would be absorbing, and that is because this book was very, very engaging. It was compelling. It had a gripping story right from the beginning to the very end. I was like completely absorbed. Even though I figured out the plot halfway through, I still wanted to read this book. So I really did like that the writing was very gripping. So yeah, definitely absorbing. The second word is breezy. And the reason is, this is a really good book to read like at the beach. It's a good in-between book to read, between like heavy books. It's not like an intense like psychological, thriller. It's not really scary. It's not like massively, like, it doesn't take a lot of energy out of you to read. So I really did actually liked that it was quite like an easy breezy type of domestic suspense mystery book. Yeah, so that's my second word. It's a breezy, mystery thriller book. The third word is juicy, and that is because this book has a lot of drama. There's a lot of like, oh no, she didn't, kind of moments in there. And I just loved the drama. I really just loved the drama in this book. It was really juicy, and it had a delicious storyline. And the fourth word, last but not least, is tender. And that is because it's not just like a story about 2 sisters. The author actually covers quite an interesting subject about mental health and developmental issues. So I just thought that was quite cool. I liked that you also learn a bit out of it. And also you will have a favorite sister in this. And I liked that the characters were quite sensitive as well. So it was quite a tender read. So it had a bit of a soft side to it. All in all, I will say The Good Sister was a fast-paced and intriguing read. I love that it dealt with very specific issues. I don't want to get into it because you have to read it. And I always like books where you get to learn something, or you become a little bit more aware of certain situations. I loved the dialogue in this book. It was very easy to read. You definitely find yourself invested in the story, in the characters of this book, and I would highly recommend this book if you love domestic fiction, if you like women's fiction, thriller type of reads. It's a perfect book to read in between books, or like, it's just a very easy book to read. It's not like super intense. You're not going to be like, sweating or anything reading it. So yes. Right, so let's get into my song pick for The Good Sister. Probably wondering what I picked. So if you guys don't know, I love music. So I love pairing books with songs. just happens naturally because I just listen to music all day, every day. I love music. And for this book, I knew I wanted a song about relationships. I knew that I wanted a song about a relationship that used to be good but is no longer good anymore, and things can never go back to the way they were, you know, that type of vibe. And I also knew that I wanted quite a fun song as well. So I chose Bad Blood by Taylor Swift and Kendrick Lamar, or featuring Kendrick Lamar. Also, I like that it's like Bad Blood because, you know, blood sisters. So it's a fun song. Listen to it. I'll link the video. And thank you so much for staying tuned. I'll link a link if you want to purchase this book through Amazon. Help me out. I get a little, you know, something. And I'll also link the review for The Mother-in-Law, the other Sally Hepworth book that I read. And subscribe and like my video, and have a great week. Thank you so much for watching.